Hey guys, welcome back to Addicted to Fishing, and I'm John. Today, we're going to talk about three of the newest rigging techniques that are out there. And we'll start out with these two. They're out of the package. And then, last but not least, and as you can see from that last package, this is all new stuff that's come from Core Tackle. And I've got some cheaters here for us. The first one that I'm going to show you is what they call the ultimate swim bait hook. It's the Tush. And I'm going to explain what I've been doing with it, what I like about it. This has got the 2-aught hook and a 1/4 ounce. You can see there, Core Tackle. This guy happens to be a size 1 hook and a 3/16. This is the Hover Rig. You guys have been hearing me talk a lot about the Hover Rig. And I also have the 3-aught hook, weedless, and an 1/8 ounce. And it's got the little wire guard. I got them with the wire guard in case I wanted to have the wire guard. If not, you can always pull that wire guard off or clip it out. But again, and that one's the 3-aught. And I like it that they got it on there. Plus, they're giving some tips now, guys, on the back on how to rig them. Last but not least is the Ozark rig. This is a 4-aught and a 3/16. And I think I got one that's a little bit lighter, but I thought I'd bring that one out first. I'm going to save the Hover Rig for last because I'm going to show you guys how I rig it. There's some people out there that don't understand quite how to rig that, so I'm going to cover that. We'll start here. This is the Tush. You can see I've got it on a bait caster. This is kind of my go-to setup right now. Shimano Corrado 200 HG 7:2-to-1 reel. I actually have this with 12-pound mono. This is a Shimano Calius rod, 6'10", rated for 10 to 17 pound line. So it's a 1/4 ounce to 3/4 ounce. It's a medium heavy fast action. It's a great jerk bait rod. When I'm kind of bank fishing and I'm trying to reduce the amount of weight that I carry, or the rods that I'm carrying, especially if I'm walking long distances, this is kind of that go-to combo that I like for that because I can throw a lot of different things on it. So this is what the final, give it a little slack here. This is kind of like the final rigging, how it looks. Again, you have the regular swim bait hook. So guys, what you're doing is you're just rigging it like your regular hollow bodies, paddle tails, boot tails, whatever, little swim bait. You just run this through, run the swim bait all the way up, and all you're going to leave exposed, like seen here, is just the hook eye. This just happens to be a little 3-inch net bait swim bait, little paddle tail swim bait. It's got a slot across the back to where you want to line up the hook coming out. It's also got a spot in the belly if you're going to belly hook it, with like a little belly weight or something of that nature. One of these guys. This happens to have a screw lock. This is unweighted, but they kind of get the point with that, what would that be for. One of the things that I like about this particular swim bait setup, I'm going to just pull out a random one here. This is a VMC. This guy, there's still a place and a time and a definite need for this style swim bait setup, jig setup, whatever you'd want to use it for. But one of the things that I've noticed fishing this guy is that I get a lot of body rolling out of it, where that bait's literally rocking back and forth. And I like it because where the line tie is for one, and I don't have that lead head up front. All the lead is inside the body of the swim bait. But the biggest thing that I've noticed is that side to side rocking that I get out of it. And it just triggers more bites. I haven't thrown it a lot, but I have thrown it enough to get an opinion on it. And that's definitely a keeper. I really like that. It throws well on this combo. I think it's going to be great for the smallmouth and largemouth alike. I don't have many places with spotted bass, but if there's spotted bass present, it's definitely going to work. The next one we're going to talk about here is the Ozark rig. And guys, you just regular rig this just like you do any other Texas rig. The big difference here is you're getting rid of that weight out in front. Again, all of these, it seems to be the common denominator here. Like you would have a bullet weight on the line, and you can kind of get away from that. This one just happens to be a little Z-Man crawl. I quickly just kind of put him away. But it's just rigged up, just a regular Texas rig. Some of the soft plastics, they seem to come up here on this a little better. If you guys fish any of the Z-Man stuff, you know I just had to pinch and pull to get it to sit up there right. But yeah, it just kind of puts all that weight back here on the back, so it gives it more of an even keel. So it's just dropping through the water. It's just more of a steady drop. Let me see if I can pull one out of the package here. Kind of give you a better up close look on this. Some of you guys may have seen these. Some of you guys may have already be fishing with them. But this is the way that guy looks. Okay. Versus just a regular hook. You know, don't mind that this is going to be quite substantially a smaller hook. This happens to be a Trokard. It's got a little weed guard or a little keeper on it. This one's got the little keeper in the front. But this would be your normal Texas rig hook. This one just happens to have a plastic piece that's on the shank of the hook with a little keeper. I really like that little hook. But this little hook from Core Tackle does really, really well. I like it that I eliminated that bullet weight out in front. But if you guys know what the bullet weight unpegged kind of gives you, this Ozark rig will never replace that. What I'm talking about there, guys, is if this was the rig, and let me grab one of these big old Carolina weights that I use for Carolina rigging. If you have this bullet weight out in front, and you don't peg it or you double peg it, and I've done that too, where you bobber stop on the bottom, bobber stop on the top, where I can get this out in front, and then you would have a free flowing bait behind it. Of course, this one's got the weight on it because it is the Ozark rig, but you would be able to naturally kind of suspend that bait behind it. This rig will not eliminate that. It's going to be for more of your, where you'd want to peg a bait and you're trying to keep that bait and that weight close to the bottom. You're not looking for really that super finessey presentation. It works really, really good. Again, it does give some body wiggle to it. Another one that's definitely I keep in my arsenal. Let me put some of the stuff away as we're going here, guys. And last but not least, let's talk about the hover rig. Now, you guys have seen me use the hover rig with a 90-degree jig hook. They call it mopping. They call it a bunch of different things, but you would just use a standard. I'm sorry about my dog there, guys. You just use a standard 90-degree hook, and then you would come in with a nail weight to give it some weight. Whereas this hover rig from Core Tackle puts that lead directly on that little 90-degree bend hook. All right, guys. So people are trying to figure out, you know, how do I rig this thing? Well, we're going to go with these little Drift Fry knockoffs. And I like these guys. Just happens to be one in black. A lot of people think you still need to come up through the nose. Some people want to get this back here because they're saying that you got to have that natural keel. And that's just simply not the case, guys. What you want to do is you really want to come in right on this particular bait. You want to come in right behind the eyes. Right in between them eyes. We're going to come in through that bait. We're going to come down, and it's key. You got to get it as straight as possible. And it does take a little bit of finessing to get this on there. And to get it right where you want it. But you got to make sure you're coming out exactly dead center. Okay, like this. This is what you should start looking like. Now, to get this to rig right, you simply push this soft plastic up on that lead weight. And it helps if you're kind of pulling and pushing at the same time. The tissue the exact same way. You got to kind of finesse it in there. One of the things I do to help out is I'll wet it down. You know, if I'm at the water and I'm putting a new one on, I dip this down in the water to help make it a little more, the plastic a little more, not necessarily pliable, but it just simply helps to work out a little bit more. And I have never rigged this little Drift Fry action. I think I don't have it down far enough, which is okay. You can just slightly pull it up. Let's see if we can feed that hook down. Just a tad bit further. Coming out the back of the body down there a little further. And again, guys, you can't be in a super fast. Can't be super hurried up with that. So once you get it kind of to here, what you got to do is this point. You want to bring that point inside the head. And this bait, I particularly rig it with the nail weight. I haven't used this hover rig necessarily on a lot of different baits. I'm kind of still figuring it out a little bit. Yeah, you end up with, now this one I think I went just a tad too far down the body with the hook. I'm getting kind of that kink in it, which again we can just simply fix that. No big deal. You get the point here. Sometimes you know, especially with baits that you're not using a lot. I think these guys happen to be like 2.5 inches. And again, I have mainly fished this knockoff Drift Fry with a nail weight versus the regular hover rig. But anyway, guys, without the kink in the body, and I'd have to kind of go through it again a little bit and really work this bait up on this hook right. I got it pretty good there. But anyway, without it being kinked, you know, keeping it straight, this is what you'd end up with. You know, no matter if you're working this bait or another bait, this is how you want it. That little point needs to go up here in the head of the bait. And again, when this thing's falling, what you're getting out of it is you're getting kind of this big wide circle dying motion. This bait should be falling in the water, kind of spiraling. And then when I'm working it, I'm just giving it soft little tap, little bounces, and that bait will wobble, kind of do the side to side motion. And I like this little simple, subtle presentation. Let's pull another one out here that's out of the body. But again, you got this really small, really finessey presentation. And I can get that again out of, I've got several different size 90-degree hooks that I had been using. Um, Depending on how big of a hook you really need. I like the thing I like about the old nail weight in a 90-degree over the the uh, the hover rig with the weight on it is I can go to pretty much any size hook I want and any size weight that I want. If I'm really trying to get that super finessey presentation, this is definitely the ultimate setup for me. I really like how the hover rig is working. Don't get me wrong, this one works. The difference would be, and this hook's a little too big for this little bait, but you get yourself a little 90-degree. I would still thread it exactly the same. Now there's a couple of different things that you can do. With this drift fry, I come in with a fairly small nail weight. That one's kind of big. Here's one of the little dudes. I come in with these little dudes. And I can do a couple of different things with it. I can take it in through the nose. I can come back here in the back and I can run this in. But basically what I'm trying to do here, and I'll kind of show you if I can, you want that weight still in the center of the body. Sometimes I do head weight it to kind of give it a different type of action. And depending on where you're putting the nail weight, you are going to get a little different type of body action out of it. With the hover jig, or the hover rig setup, you're only getting you can only have one. It's fixed. It's right here in the center. So if I'm just looking to have this real simple, body rock motion coming in, and when I'm twitching it, it's the little minnows twitching. You can see these little pintails on the back. They got quite a bit of action on them. This one happens to be, and again, this is a knockoff of the Jackall Drift Fry. This is the D1. It says 2.0, so I'm guessing it's a 2-inch. There's really not a whole lot of information on this. I think this is made by, if I'm not mistaken, the company is Dr. Fry. On the back here it says, description, designed and tested by anglers from all over the world. Part 2, more realistic and attractive like life fish. 3, it's made with eco-friendly materials to reduce pollution. And it gives you some cautions, like you don't eat it, keep it out of children's reach. Yeah, D1 fish. Everything's pretty much in Chinese. It says fishing with good baits on the front. This little bait works really well. I like the little lip that it adds versus some of my other little minnow or twitch type baits. But it's just a great alternative. I definitely fished this one in real stained muddy water, this color here. Got a couple other colors of it. But anyway, I just wanted to cover that rigging for you guys. And I covered the old school way that I'd been doing them too. Again, you're going to come in right in the middle of the head, thread this down, thread it down, thread it down. You can see this hook is way too big for this. But I can come out and have this one here on a little 2-aught hook. I don't think I have any smaller ones in there, but you can buy these 90-degree bend hooks on any kind of lure parts store. Lure parts online, Jan's Netcraft, Barlow's, eBay, many places sell lure building supplies. You just simply buy these 90-degree hooks. You can buy them in 10-pack, 20 packs, 100 packs, 1,000 packs. Sometimes you'll find them on eBay, and the guy will have 10,000 of these in a box. And you can get them fairly cheap. Same thing with the nail weights. I've used other things besides these commercially made nail weights to achieve the same thing. You know, but you get yourself a little nail weight. You're inserting that to kind of mimic the whole thing here. And that was actually how we were doing it prior to the hover rig coming out. And this is the one with it's a little bit bigger, and it's got that weed guard on it. Before we were getting this. And this technique's been around for quite a while. It's just core tackle brought it more into the forefront. One of the other things, guys, that I've done with these, and not with this one here, but with this guy here, when I'm just kind of rigging it up on a 90-degree hook, sometimes I don't even insert the nail weight here. What I like to do is leave that weightless, and then I run a drop shot weight, and it's got the little clip on the line, and I kind of reverse drop shot it. You know, normally when you think about a drop shot, you're thinking about the bait here, right? And then the line comes down, and at the bottom is your drop shot weight. Well, I reversed that. I put my drop shot weight on the line, tie my bait on, and I can simply slide this up and down further and closer to the bait as I desire. So what I'm getting is, you know, if I've got this up 12 inches, this weight will still go to the bottom, but it kind of moves the bait more like this behind it. And I'm calling it a reverse drop shot, and that's pretty much what it is. But that seems to work really, really good, especially with like little insect type baits that I'm trying to kind of hop around out there. I get that weight out in front of it, and it's kind of free flowing behind it. It also could be kind of like your Carolina rig without the swivel and the bead and all that. You know, this guy's out in front, and I generally do not fish this any closer than, you know, about 12, 18 inches. And I really get this guy free floating behind it. And I like to fish that below the spillway like that, in rocky areas. And I tend to lose far less of my baits. And actually, when I'm what I'm calling the reverse drop shot, is I don't even lose my drop shot weight. But anyway, guys, I hope that information is something that you can use. I hope by kind of demonstrating and walking you through how to rig the bait on the hover rig itself helps you out. Again, you're not going to insert your hook way back here and get that weight more distributed in the back end. If you want to do that, and you can do that, you know, there's no right, wrong, or indifferent way of doing it. You just simply would have to go to a regular hook, regular 90-degree hook the bait however you like to rig it. You know, especially if it's a little bit bigger bait and you want your hook back a little bit further, which you really never want. The fish, when they come in to attack, they eat the bait head on. They don't usually eat the bait from the back end. They're coming up and they're attacking that front. So you want that hook point more towards the front. But a lot of people are saying, well, you're not getting as much center gravity, you know, with this being up so far. Well, again, use that 90-degree bend. Rig it how you like, and if you want, you know, and this is too big of a nail weight for this, but it's big enough that you can see it, is you come in through the back. What if you did that and you came in and you pushed that through? Now you definitely have that nail weight more towards the back of the bait. But again, on this one, if I was to use this big old weight, I can rig it and have center gravity while going through the front. So really, guys, it's up to you how you do it. It's a good thing to go out and experiment with them, and I've been experimenting around with these rigging techniques for a little while now, and I know what's been working really, really well for me. And I'm not saying you definitely should experiment with them. This Core Tackle Ozark rig is the latest one that I've been playing around with, and I'm really liking how for like a pegged Texas rig style, I definitely think this is a game changer. It slips in and out of cover and a moss a lot better than a bullet weight out in front of it. So I am finding that I'm getting snagged up on moss and stuff a lot less. But if I want that old school technique where I didn't peg my drop or my bullet weight out in front, and I can get that bait to kind of be behind it and slowly falling to catch up with that weight before I was to raise it, then that bait shoots down to that bullet weight. Because when you're pulling on the line, it's sliding through that hole on that bullet weight, and it's going to take that bait a second to catch up to that. I definitely wouldn't want this rig, because it's just not going to do what that bullet weight would do. It's not going to allow that bait to kind of have that free-flowing motion behind it. If you're pitching and flipping and you're into heavy cover, you got a lot of grass, that's where I've been throwing this, is in places with a lot of grass. I've thrown it down just regular banks, just kind of experimenting around with it, figuring out what works. Once you figure out how it's going to work best for you, stick with it, experiment a little bit around with it, but it's surely going to work for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. It just helps me out a little bit. Again, I apologize for the videos kind of being sporadic. I am in the process of moving. I shared that picture in my community when my tackle room is getting packed up, and I'm out here in the kitchen right now making a video. But I tried to get out and tried to hurry up and get you guys a video made, covering these new core tackle things. These are hot commodities in my area. They're hitting the shelves and they're selling out fast. I think just about any outlet right now for tackle, they are selling fast. Anyway, guys, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so. Hit that notification bell to be notified when I put out a new video. Soon we'll get back, within the next month or so, we'll get back to making regular twice-a-week videos for you guys, bringing you all the newest information that I can, my tips, tricks, and how-tos. But anyway, thanks, and we'll see ya.